go ahead and call the meeting to order, and appreciate everybody coming. Did everybody go online and look at last month's minutes? If you did or didn't, that's how we do it. So is everybody on, as a member on the website?
Not really, no.
Okay.
There's a problem right now with the email on the website, on the server. I gotta fix it.
Okay.
It's, just let everybody know, it just come up this past, the mail server people there's an issue with them making me change the passwords. When I did, it broke everything.
Okay. Well, he'll get that fixed, but, you know, all of our minutes go on the members' pages of the website, so that way you can look them over. We'll try to have them this week, up there, and, look at them. If you have questions, you know, in the minutes or whatever, there's info, where you can send in and ask questions, or just call one of us. Do I have a motion to accept the minutes?
Sure, I'll make a motion.
Okay, second. All right, any talking to? Evidently not.
I have a question on, it was brought up earlier in another meeting that we could ask questions or make suggestions of topics to be talked about at
Yeah,
meetings.
we're gonna bring that up in
Is that on the website too?
Yes, you can, what is the deal where they send us information?
There's a contact form on there, and you could just put your name and email and address and phone number and just make a comment, and it goes to all the officers of the club.
I did that and I didn't get anything back.
It's because the email's broken.
It was like a month ago.
I didn't see one.
It may have been broken for over a month. You know who pointed this out to me about 4 days ago is Gary Goolsby.
What was?
And I haven't.
I'll have to think about it. It's been a while. Like I say, it's been a month.
Well, think about it, because I'm gonna ask that question in a little bit. Okay, any more comments before we call for the, yeah, okay, all in favor of accepting the minutes as written?
Yep.
Opposed? Okay, thank you. We have a treasurer's report.
Okay, hang on just a second. All right. We started out with, in the bank with $948.93. We paid $25 for the Llano County Library System for this room. We have several memberships. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 memberships that got paid last month. And then we paid for the $50. That was $10.35. So we have a total in the bank right now of $1,113.58. In our raffle, we have, that's included in the bank account. So of that 1,100, $218.90 is earmarked for the raffle. I do have some, for the people who paid, I've got some cards here. I've got Karen, Dave, Yamaris, okay. Yeah, I've got it set aside for you. And then Susan Fuquay. Okay, can you hear if not here? Sorry, different hat. And then a Robert.
That's me.
Sorry, I meant to do that and I forgot.
Let me get you to, what's your name?
Just so that you remember the GPA, I mean, the little thing.
All right, we've heard the treasury report. We have a move to accept it.
I'll make a motion.
All right, second.
Gary?
All right, any talking to it? Everybody understand we got our general, then we have our our raffle. We got 3 chairs.
There's chairs in the back.
Okay, all those in favor of accepting the treasury report, say aye or raise your hand. Okay, it's already- It is what it is. Okay,
DENNISTY.
y'all, I'll let them get signed in and sit down. How you doing? You haven't missed much. The only thing we did was accept the minutes and the treasury report, so. And everybody, if they're not online on the website, please do. Please get signed up. We'll be able to buy raffle tickets.
Do we have a gift for there?
It's up there getting Deb in the yellow shirt.
Y'all too tight, just spread out. The same.
Deb is,
That's good.
All right, okay, yeah, like the ones that just came in, we just went over accepting the minutes of the last meeting and the treasury report. So, we're gonna go into old business. Old business, right now is the March 23rd, 24th, treasure show in Llano at the John Kirkendall Center. Does everybody know where that's at? Or who don't know? All right, when you go to the courthouse, you got 152 in Llano, which is going out to the west. Just keep following it, and you'll see it on the left-hand side, before you get to Robinson Park. Matter of fact, if you're gonna go metal detecting today, that's where it's at.
152 is also called Main Street,
Yeah.
inside the,
Yeah, so it'd be on the north side of the Llano courthouse. It's at that red line.
Is that headed to Castell?
No, Castell,
It is.
yeah, no, it's going toward Castell, yeah, okay, yeah. And, so it's a couple miles out, you know, when you get to, you'll see it on the, left-hand side. But they're having the treasure show, we're having a booth in it, be about 2 tables. We really need volunteers, plus you really need to come to the treasure show and see everything that's there. How many of y'all have never been to a treasure show? A bunch, okay, you need to do it. You'll have metal detecting, you'll have, rocks, gem, mineral. They do not allow, these trinket vendors and goofy, you know, like dolls and stuff. None of that's there. It's strictly about outdoor stuff like metal detecting, gold prospecting, rocks, gem and minerals, things like that, okay? The Railroad Museum will have a booth there, and the Mining Museum, that's how it gets in. It's free, don't cost you anything to get in the door. We really need, we'll have a booth, we'll set it up on Friday, you don't really have to be there Friday. But Saturday and Sunday, and it's, what time is it, 8 to 4, 8 to 5 on? Say 8 to 5, and that could be wrong, could be 4, on Saturday, and they have the, you need to sign up if you've never done it, or if you'd like to do it, a silver coin shoot. What that means is they have silver coins, and I don't know if he's gonna have tokens mixed in with that or not. And there's a field out there that they mark off, and they plant those silver coins. All right, could be any denomination or whatever, but they're silver coins. And then you line up, all the people participating line up, and when the whistle goes off, whatever, you go out and see how many coins you can pick up. All right, then after that, if there's tokens, and they have awards other than who gets, they'll have awards. But anyway, you can get awards after that. That's in the morning. And look at I didn't bring one of the flyers.
It's on TexasTreasureShow.com.
Yeah.
And
It's on our website.
just a little bit more about the hunt. He's burying all tokens. And the way Larry's going to run it, he's burying all tokens. And you turn these tokens in for silver dollars. Okay. And any tokens not found, so if you didn't find no tokens, any tokens not found in the field, he's going to draw people's names out for the remaining silver dollars. So it's 100% payback on the thing.
Okay. So it's pretty, how much, do you know how much the entry fee is?
I believe the entry fee is $25 or $30, something like that. It's on TexasTreasureShow.com.
Yeah, go to treasureshow.com. It has, at the very bottom of it, keep scrolling down, and it has your entry fee. You need to get it in as fast as you can, so he knows how many.
Well, he's limited it to a certain number. Yeah, he's got a limit on it. So once it fills up, it's filled up.
Yeah.
Okay.
So get in there and try it. I mean, it's fun. It's just a good thing to be able to get into. But
Can we pay for that here today, now?
no, it has to be gone. It has to be sent to him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all through the website. You have to fill out the form, send it to Larry
Yeah.
by email. Also, I want to point out, there's 2 guest stars there. You want to mention about the 2 guests?
All right. Yeah. Has anybody been on the YouTube and seen Gypsy Jules? Okay, she's going to be there with her new book that she'll sign and autograph for you for sale. W.C. Jameson, does anybody know him?
Yeah.
He'll be there. Of course, he'll have his books and stuff to sell. So you've got people to go talk to and get close and personable. You don't have to worry about standing in line or standing away from them. They're very open, talking about everything. You can buy metal detectors there. We're going to have at our booth, and come back to our booth, we really need several people to be in our booth, which will just be talking to people about the meetings. Then we'll have a raffle. We're going to have some of the silver rounds or silver dollars. That what they do is pretty neat. They'll have a silver dollar that they will draw for, and when they get to $100, which is, I think it's $5 a piece, or is it $5? Is it $100? Anyway, when the tickets for that silver dollar is bought, whether it's 5 or whatever, 20, then they'll raffle, we'll raffle that off. The club gets 50% of that raffle. We ain't paying anything for the silver dollars. The person that's giving us the silver dollars raffle is donating them to the club, but he's taking 50%. That ain't bad, and people love it because, man, they'll be hoovering over that thing. But basically all you do is hopefully have cards by then to hand out, so people can know about our meeting and have stuff to hand out. And basically you just sit and talk. And the more people that volunteer, the less you have to do. And at that time you can still walk around to the show And so it's not a whole lot to it. But anyway, it'll be noon to 4 on Sunday. Okay? In other words, they're having the silver hunt in the morning, and then the show will be 12 to 4. And that's when all of the raffles are done. So you don't have to be there, but we are putting together, as far as I know, a Mind Lab,
Xterra Pro, like the one on the table.
yeah, an Xterra Pro. So we'll have a raffle there for that, maybe something else too. But anyway, it's a money maker for the club. It's a lot of fun. It's mainly talking to a lot of people. This is all about finding more things out, just like what we're gonna have as soon as, whenever Tom gives it. How do we go about getting finds ourselves? And that's what, that's what the clubs are about, learning about all the stuff. So as far as I know, that's all of the old,
What time does it start on Saturday?
I'm gonna say 8 o'clock. I think it's 8 o'clock.
I think the door's open at 8.
Yeah. Like I
We can do a
said,
sign-up sheet for times or something on that, or how are we gonna?
we can get Peggy to open up a sheet that if you wanna work, that's fine. We always find that people sign up and then something happens, so basically, we'll be there. If you can come help, please do. All right? And so if you have a time, just let Peggy know, and then, or if you wanna know what time you need to come, really, it's just up to you, basically. Any other old business? All right, new business. We can't be in here next month because it's the primaries. And we can't be in here May because it's the runoff. And then November, why? Because I don't think you want to be anywhere in November. Anyway, we could have gotten the little room to have the meeting, but they don't like anybody talking during the voting. All right, we've done this before, been there, done that. The little ladies have to go all the way around, y'all hold it down in here. So I told them, no, we'll just go. So, next month, what we talked about, is about like today, we're having the meeting and the outing. Now, the outing today is at, the John Kirkendall Center. There's a big area, we're not gonna be able to be there, we gotta go to grandson basketball game. But got a huge area at the John Kirkendall Center. It's the area that they stage everything at. It's where they had the cows at, it's where they had all the animals at. It's where when they had the big roping, they stage everybody back in there. A lot of activity, a lot of things going on. Behind that is where the RVs park, which they've been loaded up these past few months. So there should be, and Gary goes there quite often, so he can tell you that probably gonna be a lot of stuff to find. So that's gonna be starting at 1 o'clock there, and meet in the back.
Can I speak to that?
Yeah.
Today they're having a big area-wide garage sale in the events center, the building, where we will be having our show. So the front parking lot is kind of off limits because they're gonna be using that. As you come in to the area, to your left will be that big field where back in 2022, that's where the silver hunt was. And I wouldn't be surprised if there wasn't 3 or 4 silver coins still there. I found one several months later. The warm-up area, what I would suggest you do is go back and park where the RVs area is. Now, you can go underneath to the warm-up area. You can actually go into the arena, which is where I'm gonna be. I found some very interesting things. The very first coin I found there was a buffalo nickel. I found Canadian coins, I found British coins, I found a Chicago parking token, as well as conchos and clad coins, things like that. But there is a bunch of area to cover. Come out there. If you're gonna be in the arena, it helps to have a little light. They probably will not have the lights on. You can see, pretty good. But getting down and seeing what you're digging up, a little headlamp or a flashlight will really help you. But any questions about our hunt this afternoon?
Starts at 1.
Pardon?
Starts at 1.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How many people are coming?
And you can go to the area-wide garage sale while you're there. Open to the public. Of course, you gotta pay, I think, to get in. Yeah. All right, so everybody, understand, like next month, we talked about having an outing, and, a get-together. Tom's not gonna be able to be here, at Johnson Park. Or we can just have, let the event be our meeting, which is really gonna be, instead of us having a whole weekend, 2 weekends or whatever, I would really prefer for everybody to just come to the event, and not have a meeting, since we're not gonna be able to be in here anyways. Is that okay with everybody that's here?
Yeah.
Okay, then what we'll do is say that, the 23rd, is when we'll get together at the, event, and then I'll have it from there. April, we talked about, now, Tom, Gary, and I got together, and we talked about, speakers. We talked about Gypsy, trying to get her in. Now, Gypsy used to live in Round Rock, so it wasn't hard to get her over here. Everybody know, heard of Gypsy Jules? No, you can go on YouTube and look at her channel.
And she was also on with Duck Dynasty, helping
Yeah.
them, the
Yeah.
Duck Dynasty folks on a TV
And she was
show.
on some of the Beyond Oak Island,
Yep.
shows. And plus a couple more. But anyway, she's very nice, very knowledgeable, real down to earth. You'll get to meet her at the show. But she's moved to East Texas, so it's not like we can just ask her to come in one morning or so. But we're getting enough people at pretty much every meeting to be able to bring people in. They always require so many because it's not worth their while if they don't, if they don't have it. And it's very interesting. You can talk to them about, of course, metal detecting, or you can talk to them about what's it like working on some of the shows. But we would need to help her with fuel, accommodations, et cetera. So that's the reason I'm bringing this up for something like that. We can bring people in to talk, but you don't necessarily, sometimes it's just taking them out to eat, et cetera. Does everybody understand that? And then we have,
That's in April, and that is, right, is that what you're talking about? Okay, that's also gonna be the Eclipse thing. There ain't gonna be a lot of accommodations and stuff, as far as
No,
food
no.
and everything. So that'd be a problem.
April project WC. WC Jameson said he would come talk to us. Has anybody heard him talk?
Yeah.
All right, so, and it will be about not metal detecting per se, but what is it like to find treasure? What things do you need to go through to find treasure? Okay? In other words, to find it, you've got to, you can hap on it. You can ask Tom about this. But it takes a long time of preparation to really go out and see treasure. And we're all treasure hunters. I don't care whether you're gonna treasure hunt in this, wherever, in your backyard. But we're all treasure hunters. That's what we're learning what to do, not stay with the group, follow behind Gary, or follow behind Tom. You wanna go out to a place nobody's been and treasure hunt. What's a treasure? Anything you find that you hold true to your heart that you found, that's a treasure. I don't care whether it's a nail, I don't care whether it's a penny. If you found it, it's your treasure, trust me, just like gold prospect. So anyway, WC, I think, WC, as far as I know, will give the April talk. We don't know yet, because May, we're gonna have to figure out what to do, and probably we'll have an outing along with the meeting, okay? Or we'll go to the Barnett Library and have the meeting over there. They're very good about accommodating us. And then we'll get, different speakers for our meetings from there on, all right? And then we'll probably get, like the series that Tom had put together for last month and this month, had a lot of good comments out of it. And I think every one of us, not just y'all, but me and everybody else, learned some good information. The better you are with that detector, whatever you have, the more you're gonna come back in. Why? Because you want to learn more and you want to hear more. So, is that okay? I mean, everybody feel pretty good about that, please? If you, and then we'll probably have Scott and, the one that came and talked about going to England. Probably try to have him back in, have the other Scott that came in and talked about metal detectors too, and pinpointers. So we've got, a number of people. We decided to try to go with the, silver. These are not clad, they're not, these are silver half dollars. I don't know how many of y'all got in your pockets, but, anyway, they're pretty neat to have. We got the old silver ones. If you've never seen, and Tom has some here, this is how you tune your detectors. Okay? You can put things like this together, and Gary made up a whole bunch of them there of different types of metals. How do you know what you're looking at with your detector without it? So you can tune your detector in your house, like you just set it just like this and go like this. And, or have your wife or somebody do it, and then look and see what it comes up on your screen. Okay, so when you go somewhere, you know what to tune out, what to tune for, etc. All right. Anything else? we'd asked about, was anybody interested in gold?
No.
And we didn't have any response, so we thought, well, must not be anybody. If we gave a talk on gold prospecting, which would include metal detectors, would the group be?
Yeah.
Okay. And, so we'll set that up too. I think that's it for the meeting. I'm about 15 minutes past where I was wanting to go, but, the talk was very good. Thank you. So what we're gonna do is Tom's gonna come up and give his presentation, which will, if you weren't here last time, presentation was over what does everything mean on your detectors, you know, because you have things, coins, relics, etc., or maybe program 1, program 2, program 3. And he went over it, plus the coils, elliptical coils, double D coils, multi-frequency coils, etc. So now this time, he's gonna go over how do you tune out stuff. How many of y'all been out and found hot rocks? Okay, you know what a hot rock is? It's a highly mineralized rock that'll make your metal detector go off, but it'll do nothing. Okay, when you go to salt water, when you hear that hum and little static and everything, how do you tune that out so you can get the full benefit out of it? I'll let him go through the rest of it, okay? Then we'll have our raffle, and now, like I said, there's books on the back if y'all are interested in some of them. You just see what you want, and it's $5 a piece.
After the presentation,
I don't.
anybody who's interested in t-shirts, I
It's on.
have t-shirts here. And we can pay for memberships as well.
Yeah, everybody needs to get up there and get remembered. So I'm gonna try to continue where I left off last month. You remember we talked about a scale of 0 to 100, and each kind of target had a different scale. If you remember, silver's way over here, silver coins is on the top end of the scale, and nickel's kind of in the middle of the scale. And then you have gold is kind of, you know, like a 30-ish up to a 70-ish thing. And then your silver rings would be, you know, probably 60 up on different scales. Some detectors have a scale 0 to 100. Some have 0 to 50. Some only have 5 segments that show you what they are. But basically, they all divide the conductivity of the target up into groups. I don't care if you've got an ACE 150 or you've got a top end XP Deus 2, it all divides the targets up into specific conductivity groups. So with that being said, I'm just going to go over it using this metal detector right here. And I'm going to approach this from it's probably going to squawk like crazy. I'm going to approach this from the point of view of if I go to a site, what do I do? Okay. The first thing I do is I turn my metal detector on. Okay. I've got to have a metal detector on to find metal. If you don't have it on, I've hunted hours with a detector off one time. So you got to have it on to find anything. I thought it was really quiet that day, you know. So you got to have it on to detect anything. The next thing is every single metal detector on the market. I don't care if you got an ACE 150 or a Deus 2 or a MindLab Manicore or whatever, they've got a base program that you can start at. And my suggestion is learn your detector, stay away from going off of somebody else's program. There are tons of programs for the various detectors on the internet. And all of those are great if you live in that area, you're using that type of soil, you're using the targets, all are going to be a little different. Like a nickel here in Texas is going to sound different on the detector in Colorado because of the mineralization in the soil. The number on the screen is going to be different. It's going to sound different. So a program that somebody wrote in Pennsylvania is going to work great for that person in Pennsylvania. It's not going to work great here in Texas. With that being said, I suggest you take a base program and adjust it for Texas for your type of hunting. And every single time that you go detecting on your type of hunting, you use that base program. I've got a base program for land hunting on my DS2. I've got a base program for underwater hunting. I've got a base program that I use for hunting beaches on dry beaches. I've got a base program that I use for salt water and the surf on beaches. Okay, those are 4 different types of hunting that I do. And I've got a base program that I have saved that I use that starts me off from there. But with that being said, the factory programs that are in the detectors today are really a good starting point. And I suggest everybody starts with the base program in your detector and learn your detector before trying to make your own program. Spend 50, 60 hours in the field with the base program to learn what your detector is going to do on a base program. With this being said, this detector here is the MindLab Xterra, and I'm going to turn, maybe you'll see the screen if I turn the orange screen on. I don't know if you can see that a little bit better. So we got the orange screen up, and you'll see that it has, it starts out in Park 1, and then if I increase this up right here, it goes to Park 2, then it goes to a program, a general program, that's General 1, General 2, then it goes to beach, that's dry beach, and then it goes to wet beach. So it's got a program for each one of the areas that you could use as a base program for your metal detector. Now see, I just turned it on and I'm in Park 1, and I want to show you something. It's sitting there base stock, it's nothing changed on the program. I can hit a target. I can hit a pull tab. Okay. It probably won't hit this little teeny gold nugget that I got on here. We'll see. It does. Hit the little gold nugget. That's a small gold nugget. You can barely hear it. Okay. So see the base program, I could go out and find stuff right there without doing anything to my detector. But to improve the way a detector works, some detectors have some of these features and others don't. But I'll show you my general starting point. The first thing I usually do when I go somewhere is I noise cancel, okay? So this goes through, I put it in noise cancel mode, and some detectors have this, some don't. If you get a A-series, I think the Apex does, I don't know if any of the other ones do have noise cancel, but some do. You hit the button and it'll find, this is a single frequency machine. Okay, so this is going to find the best place to cancel the noise. The next thing I do, since I noise canceled, is I go over and I ground balance. To ground balance a detector, this is kind of short for me, but to ground balance a detector, you just take and hit the ground balance mode, and you'll pump it up and down until it finds the ground. It's kind of just a pump like that. And then you ground balance. So we've ground balanced, we've noise canceled, and those are the 3 base ones. The next thing you'll want to do is you'll want to adjust your sensitivity. That's usually the next thing I do. I noise cancel ground balance, and then I adjust it. All detectors have a sensitivity adjustment. I'm gonna turn the volume up here a little bit so you hear how noisy this detector is in this room. What you're hearing there is something called EMI, electromagnetic interference. It's from the lights in the room. Sometimes you'll get around electric fences out in the thing, you'll get around big electric lines running over, and it'll cause you to have to adjust your sensitivity. So what you want to do is come in here to your sensitivity adjustment, and you'll just decrease this sensitivity here. That's my volume. So we'll get it over here where we got the thing set up. So what I'm gonna do, you'll see these numbers jump around, that's EMI. I'm gonna turn the sensitivity down on this thing and hear how quiet it got. See, it's real nice and quiet at 11. I try to run sensitivity as high as possible because the higher you run it, the more depth you're gonna get out of your machine. The more sensitive it's gonna be to small stuff like jewelry too. So we'll turn it up so it just starts making a little noise. Right there, and then I back off. You heard it chirp a little bit, and then I back off. And turn it down one more. So it's pretty quiet. And so I got it set for max depth, and if I run a quarter underneath it, I'm picking that quarter up, would you say about 10, 12 inches? What? Just nailing it. As you get closer, it's gonna get louder. And when it's on top of the ground, you hear that double beat, you're gonna get a double beat on your detector. So that is how you basically go out and you're in search mode. Now, here's the problem. I'm gonna find pull tabs. I'm gonna find bottle caps. I'm gonna find all kinds of stuff like this. So I dig those, okay? I dig them all. I dig up everything. Because this sounds just like a gold ring sounds. As we went over last meeting, we talked about that. So I dig everything, but you might get to a place that you're going, I'm tired of hearing my pull tabs. So I look on the screen here, it's 30, 31, 32 on the number on that. On every detector, you can figure out where the pull tabs are coming in, and you can actually go in there to your discriminator. And on this detector, and just to let you guys know, I do not use this detector very often. I haven't used one in while. There's my discriminate mode. And we go over here and I can go to 31, 32. Let's go right there. We'll get rid of that. And we'll go, now we'll go back to search. And now, if I did that right on this detector, and since I'm not familiar with this detector, I'm like kind of winging it up here, but I don't hear my pull tab no more. So, as you can see, I've been around the detector so long. You can ask Deb, I haven't used this detector at all, have I? I took it out of the box and said, okay, I'm gonna figure it out real quick here on the fly. But I've been around doing detecting so long, I can go almost to any detector. They all do the same thing, guys. You just got to figure out where the buttons are. Can't pick up a nickel quite because it's real close to pull tab. Remember, pull tabs and nickels fall in the same group. But a dime, penny, and quarter all come in, but I no longer hit the pull tab. Okay? So,
The gold.
I bet it won't even touch this gold. Yeah, it does. Because I didn't knock that segment out. I only knocked the segment out for the pull tab. So I'm still getting my gold here. Little bitty gold nugget. So this is in my mind, guys, out of all the machines out there, if I was getting a base entry level machine, I would not spend less than $200. You can get this machine under $300, and this is right now the best entry level detector on the market. It has great reviews on beach hunting. Okay, I've got a friend of mine, Brian. He runs a channel called Southern Relic Adventures, and he does a lot of beach hunting. And Brian has told me that he goes out on the beach, and this detector is rock solid, quiet in the surf, and he's hitting rings 20 inches deep. He said he's found rings, you know. And the way it does that is this detector runs beach. It runs 8 kilohertz. And if you guys remember, what did I tell you when you run low frequencies? Remember last month? I remember what I said about low frequency. Well, what I said was low frequencies. If you run low frequencies, it is deeper. Fucking detector. It is much deeper than running higher frequencies. So if you get up there and you're running 15, 20, 30, 40 kilohertz, that's great for little bitty teeny gold nuggets. Okay. But it's not deep. Okay, that's the reason a multi-frequency machine is good, because it'll run 40 and it'll run 8 and it'll run 5 and it run like my machine runs from 4 to 40 kilohertz. It'll find the small stuff because it's running to that high frequency, and it'll find the deep stuff because it's running that low frequency. So a lower frequency is always deeper than a high frequency, but it will not find less conductive targets as well, like gold. So this detector right now, if you look on the screen, I've got it running like a 15 kilohertz right here. So that's a pretty high frequency. I mean, it's anything above 10 kilohertz is considered high frequency on a metal detector. So it would be sensitive to smaller stuff. Now, on this detector, you can change the frequency just by hitting this frequency button. Now I'm running 5 kilohertz, and you hear what it's doing? It's a lot more sensitive on 5 kilohertz than it is at other stuff. So if you have a fixed frequency detector like an ACE, I think most of them run in the 8 to 10 kilohertz range. Just like I said on the beach on this machine, it runs in 8 kilohertz. So that is my program, and I hope I explained everything okay. And anybody got any questions, that's what I'm here for.
How would you rate the XP Orcs metal detector?
XP, you ain't gonna go wrong with them.
The Orcs, so it's
Yeah.
just a cheaper version
Yeah,
of the,
you're not gonna go wrong with it. Personally, though, before I would buy that one, I would buy a Legend, same price. The Nocta Legend's a better machine. It's multi-frequency. So, $50 difference in price. You're gonna get a top of the line. In my mind, the Nocta Legend, the XP Deus 2, the MindLab 900, and the MindLab Manicore are the top 4 machines right now. And all 3 of the last 3 I mentioned are all over $1,000. The Nocta Legend, you can get it for $500. It comes with a bunch of accessories in the box. $500, you're not going to get another multi-frequency machine that runs 40 kilohertz and 4 kilohertz at the same time, hits the big targets and hits the little targets, gives you target separation. I'll go into target separation real quick. So this machine right here runs 1 frequency, sends out a real wide signal. And if I have a nail next to a dime right here, they're right next to each other, this detector is going to average the conductivity of the nail and the conductivity of the dime, and it's going to discriminate it out because this detector is set up to discriminate iron right now. Okay? If I'm running a multi-frequency machine and I set the reactivity up, this is a little bit advanced, reactivity is. If I set the reactivity really wide, I can still set it wide and it's still going to miss the dime because the signal is really wide coming out of this double D coil. See, the double D only detects here in the middle. And I'll go over this coil real quick too. It only detects here in the middle, so the signal would be real wide if my reactivity is set to a real slow. Some people call it sweep speed. Some people call it reactivity. There's a lot of different names for it, but it's still basically sweep speed reactivity. It's a wide signal. If you take that and turn the reactivity up higher, it narrows that out. So now I've got a real narrow signal, and if I got a dime and a nickel together, you're going to hear nothing here. It's going to go quiet, and then it's going to beep on this, because now I've got a blade that's real narrow here versus a blade that's real wide. That's the advantage of a multi-frequency machine, that you can adjust the reactivity, sweep speed, search speed, coil speed, whatever you want to call it. That's the advantage of those. Now I'm going to show you something else. If I take this quarter and I hold it right here, Okay, it's moving just a little bit, but really you're not hearing. It's not made to hear. See, it's. I'm trying to hold it as still as possible because if I move it, it upsets the coil. This coil has to move to detect. It will not detect if you're holding it still. Okay, it won't detect. The detector has a microprocessor in it, and it remember the double D coil has two coils. It has a transmitting coil and receiver coil. They overlap here in the middle. That's your search area on these double D coils. It's down the middle. There's nothing out here. It won't hit nothing out here at all. It's in the middle of this coil where it hits, along where the double D section is on the coil. So you have to know where your detector hits. It has to be moving. Won't pick up, not moving. I see people all the time going, well, I can't find the coin. The only way you can find the coin is go to pinpoint mode. What pinpoint mode does is it takes a little section of coil in here and turns it into a non-motion detector. Okay? Non-motion detector cannot discriminate. Okay, it's going to pick up. It's going to pick up nails. It's going to pick up. I don't care what it is. If it's metal, it's going to pick it up. So it turns this section of the coil into an all metal situation. Whereas if you go into all metal mode here on this detector, and I hold the coil, it'll find it. So that's all metal mode on that detector. And you'll notice all the bars are up here all the way across. If I turn that off again, it goes back in those segments go away that were up there. So when you're in pinpoint mode, it's all metal. And like I said, you don't, to really find the coils, I don't ever use pinpoint mode. I use what's called the heel toe method. So the way I do that is I search. You'll notice it picks up right here on the top of I call that the toe, and this is the heel. So, because just like a foot, your toe's up here and your heel's down here. So what I do is pinpoint by moving my coil backwards away from it and then move my coil closer to it to pinpoint. Now, with that being said, too, there's another problem with this machine. See this wire right here? This wire is got metal in it. When you put your detector together, you're going to want to take this wire up here and put like something around it to hold it, because if this wire moves, it's going to set your detector off and make it unstable. So you don't want that wire to move, and you want the wires to be steady all the way up this shaft. So you want to make sure that it's locked down so the wires are not causing you faulting on your detector. That's another tip.
So what do you use, electrical tape or something?
I got by them Velcro straps. They're called Velcro tie wraps. You get them on Amazon. You can buy a pack of 100 for like $3 or something. Pretty
You
cheap.
can get an ace too.
Yeah,
Not as cheap.
they're just Velcro. What I do is leave one around my wire, and then have the Velcro where I can just quickly flip it around there. Of course, I use a wireless detector, so I don't need that. But that's a tip. When you run wires around your coil, that's going to cause falsing issues. Okay. Yeah.
Why are the numbers so different on a Mind Lab compared to like a Garrett or an XP?
The scale.
Yeah, the scale.
Okay, so the scale, like a XP goes up 0 to 100.
Yeah.
The range on this one's 0 to 50.
Yeah.
A Nocta, David, am I right on this? Nocta's 0 to 60. Okay. So, and what they do is some of the manufacturers, when they build these, weight the numbers either spread apart on the low conductors or they make them spread apart on the high conductors. The Mind Labs and the Noctas tend to be spread apart on the high conductors. Okay, so that gives you more separation from a dime to a quarter to a silver dollar to half, so you have a little bit better separation on those numbers. Whereas the Deus 2 is better separated on the low numbers, and like all the pennies, nickels, and dimes and quarters are way scrunched together up here at the very top, 80 to 100 all scrunched right together. So it's how the software is in the machine on what the number is. You just have to learn what number in Texas that your machine comes up, because that number there I showed you right now doing an air test, you get out here in the field, that number is going to be totally different in the field than it is up here with me air testing. So you can't ever set your program at home with an air test in your machine. You have to go out in the field, ground balance it, and find out what number your targets are.
And that's what's good about, as you saw with these, you can play with it, but when you go out to where you're at, if you carry them, and all these have holes, you can put bolts in them and then just ratchet them out. But when you get out there, you can, and it's foot long, so you can do it on the ground. You can take your shovel, dig a little hole, or, just pop the shovel up, stick this in, and then you can see what it's like in the ground and still retain it. Why? Because it's on the stick. And that's what Gary made up is some high dollar test tools that you can win in a few minutes that help you.
Boy, he's got a range there. That's going to be a good set that somebody's going to win right there.
That's a,
Did he have them gold?
No, no, he did. But he put a good set up here.
There is some gold as far as a printed circuit board, so there is one of that. I don't know how well that will work. I can't really afford to put a bunch of gold there.
but,
That's going to be a nice set for somebody.
any questions? I know it's probably going to
Yeah,
be a
you
lot.
said this was a good entry one. What's the name of this?
This is a MindLab Xterra Pro. Right now, in my mind, for under $300, there ain't a better detector. Okay.
MindLab.
MindLab Xterra Pro. This detector, I don't know if you guys use the Garrett AT Pro. I used one for years. Love that Garrett AT Max and AT Pro. This detector right here will blow those away. Okay, as far as performance. That's
All of the new stuff coming out is just,
unbelievable. It's a great time to be a detectors guy because the stuff that's coming out is just phenomenal, especially with the multi-frequency stuff.
wanting to go from a big old head to a little bitty tiny head. It's just, and have the same power. It's just unbelievable.
Yeah, and by the way, this detector will accept all the MindLab coils. So that's a good feature on it. Okay, good. Anybody else?
Anybody else? Any questions to the meeting before we go into the raffle or whatever?
I didn't put my phone number on my tickets. Does that matter?
No, as long as you have your name, we know who you are.
Yeah, we know who you are, Robert. See, I got your name right.
Robert Richard.
Robert Richard. I'm gonna go up there and write Richard on all of them, so we know who you are.
Not just be sure to be here at the December meeting. All right, anything else? Everybody okay? Excuse me?
I need to buy some tickets.
Okay.
Yeah, me too.
Let's go ahead and, anybody else need to go ahead and, want to go ahead